Hello everyone, welcome back to the Splatoon 2 Octo expansion playthrough. You see, Ryan, I did realize that I should do the green line first, and then do the purple
Good.
line.
Yep, good.
Does that make the ordering a little bit awkward there? CQ, what the hell are you doing? What are you doing over there? Oh, you're done. Okay. Okay, so I need to complain about playing Splatoon 2 online for a little bit here.
Okay.
Whenever I try to use the inkjet, I'm terrible with it. I can't land a shot to save my life. But whenever my opponents are doing it, they can shoot me from 10 million feet away.
Oh
without
no,
any
that's
problem.
me. That's me in certain things in Smash Bros. Where it's like, oh, whenever I dodge roll, I just get no invincibility frames whatsoever. But they can dodge roll 5 times in a row, and my moves just never hit.
Yeah, you know.
Despite there's supposed to be a built-in scaling mechanic where the more you use it, the less invincibility frames you have. Well, I don't get any at all, so it's like, well, fuck you, game.
I'll be honest, I've never been able to dodge or block worth a damn in Smash, ever. So at some point I just stopped trying, and
Well, then you'd like Ultimate because you don't really have many defensive options in that game at all besides just hold shield and tilt it.
yeah.
Well, spot dodge is pretty good in Ultimate, but otherwise, your best option is just run away.
Yeah, most of the time I just try to use positioning to try and damage and knock out my enemies. I'll never be competitive, but I have more fun than I did when I was trying to master precision blocking with online lag. What the hell?
I just have accepted that Smash Brothers is not a game I'm ever going to be good at. So I'm at the point where I treat it more like Mario Party.
Look, if my
else.
Persona 4 Shadow ever manifested, it would just be ranting entirely about how Nintendo's aversion to competitive Smash was right all along. And Smash is best enjoyed as a casual experience, you know. I might voice some actual sympathy for the competitive Smash community when Nintendo was being dicks about it. But the truth of the matter is, deep down inside, my true self hates competitive Smash like it killed my pet dog when I was 5 or something.
It'll help, I think, a little bit once the DLC's done, and it doesn't feel like that's the only thing that they're doing a lot of the time. Or, I guess, to put it a little bit better, it'll finally stop being in the conversation every frickin' month and every time they're doing a direct or whatever. Because that's one of the annoying things for me is when it's just like, I don't really care who the final character is, so... Like,
they introduce a new
nice.
character, and the first thing anyone ever talks about is like how they stack up on the tier list to everyone else, and I'm just like, you know, that's all well and good. I just like it's a new toy to play with. That's the extent of my interest. I didn't want to play as Sephiroth because Sephiroth would own the competition. I wasn't amped for Joker in Smash because Joker was absolutely going to kill it in competition when some guy I'd never heard of started to use him more. But, like, it was Joker in Smash. I like the idea of having fun with him. The moves are really accurate to the game. That's charming to me. I didn't really care about much else.
Yeah, I felt the same way playing Marvel vs. Capcom. I'm like, I gotta be Arthur! And then they're like, but Arthur's the worst character in the game. And I'm like, but he jump and wear his underwear. And that make me happy, you know? Working on my...
I feel like if you're playing Marvel vs. Capcom 3 for a balanced fighting game, you're playing the wrong game.
Yeah, Marvel vs. Capcom kind of seems like you mash the buttons and then the characters make hyper combo with big number and word on screen.
It's not like the fighting game is inherently brain dead or anything, but it's also not very well balanced.
In 3, you're playing as Zero or Virgil and no one else.
Oh no, you have to have Dr. Doom in your party too, because you need 3 characters. You need 3 characters. But yeah, no, I don't think I've ever heard anybody claim that Marvel vs. Capcom, any of them actually, now that I'm thinking about it, is a balanced game. Like, as far as I can tell, like, a lot of the characters are just kind of worthless. Like, I've never heard of anybody playing competitive Thor or like Iron Man. Or honestly, it's a lot of
Well,
the
War Machine
Marvel
in 2,
characters.
but
A lot of the Marvel characters tend to get the short end of the stick. Now that I'm thinking about it, because like the top characters in Marvel 3, from what I can think of, are Virgil,
Zero
Dante,
and Virgil.
Zero. The only one I can remember from Marvel that's good is Doom. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, which is fitting, I guess. But you know what? It's not fitting. He's probably just a Doombot anyway. What am I?
Now
what
that
am
I
I
think
even
about
talking
it, you're right. I always ended up just playing the Capcom characters, even though I am fairly familiar with the Marvel cast. And
Yeah, well, that's always just kind of a thing with crossovers, is that I always am drawn to the characters I know before I am to the characters
it's not
I
even
don't.
it's not even that I don't know the Marvel characters. I am a massive Spider-Man fan, yet I never play as Spider-Man. It's weird.
Yeah, I'm thinking like Smash Brothers is the other easy example, but like when they announced Min Min, I didn't really care because I had never played ARMS, for example. But then when they announced Kazuya, I was like stoked.
Oh hell yeah, Tekken in my Smash Brothers. That's like mixing. It's like mixing matter with antimatter.
Yeah. That's also, it was another thing. Like when the Dragon Quest characters were revealed, I was like the only Westerner excited.
No, I was excited too. I mean,
Yeah.
as soon as I saw that the skin could be swapped out for different protagonists and that 8 was in there.
Yeah. But it's like, I don't know. That was also just frustrating when there was a whole community of people who said that your character didn't deserve to be in the game. But that's getting into a different topic that I won't.
oh no, that's happened to me plenty of times. It's like, I want Shantae in Smash. Your character Shantae doesn't deserve to be in Smash. Why? They left frickin' Byleth in or Corrin in.
It's like, it's just a game. Like whether or not a character deserves or not has never really stopped it. Like if you think about it like that, does Lucas deserve to be in Smash? I mean, certainly a lot of people like the game, but did it sell well enough to? Like, what metric are we working on here? Because if it's just, is his game good enough, then any character is worth it to make it.
I mean, both popularity, game quality, and sales wise have no relevance whatsoever because Ice Climbers are in
Here's the thing.
Brothers, so.
Here's the thing. People are getting maybe a little bit too high on this perception of Smash Brothers as a gaming history showcase. Like, you need to have made a splash in the industry in order to deserve a spot there. Like, that's basically the entire justification that people use to defend Rob. Rob is a joke. Rob was included as a joke. They had the model because they wanted Rob to be the trash mob for their story mode, so they made a character for Rob. Okay. But, like, people want to...
Don't you know that playable Rob in Mario Kart DS was incredibly meaningful to so many people?
Rob was super important because historical reasons of selling the NES. Both of his games sucked and no one liked using them.
Yeah, but, like, Rob played an important part in ending the video game crash. So people say that that's why he is there. I don't think Nintendo put quite that much thought into it. It's just
it literally doesn't matter if Ice Climbers are in because that game is terrible. They haven't been in anything since, and the game didn't do super great.
Yeah.
Hey, I wouldn't say Ice Climbers is terrible. I would simply say it is slightly below average.
Almost everyone who knows who the Ice Climbers are nowadays encountered them first in Smash, and maybe that revisited the original Ice Climbers game out of curiosity in some collection or on an emulator. But you're not going to see that many people singing the nostalgic praises of the Ice Climbers, you know. It's... And
I mean, they are, but they're nostalgic about playing them in Melee, which is 20 years old, so...
But, like, we're trying to argue priorities for guest characters more than anything. So it's like, no, this character is more important to gaming history. They should get in. I'm like, okay, sure. But like the moment Nintendo lets in a guest character that doesn't have some strong gaming historical significance, then all the people who thought they had an objective argument for their own case, those people suddenly don't have an objective argument for their case. And I guess, I don't know, maybe they're just resisting that because they're arguing so strongly for this.
They
I
just
know.
don't like RPGs is the short answer.
Well, that's a different argument.
I mean, to be a smidge fair, they've been kind of overloaded with JRPG
Yeah, I
stories.
mean, we've had a few too many RPG characters in Smash. As a fan of RPGs, even I will admit that. But like, at the same time, I understand why, because RPGs are kind of the games with the most memorable characters. So it's like, you know, people have an emotional response to seeing these people.
Anyway, the point of the matter is they should have made the Octolings a Echo Fighter, and they didn't. Worst game ever, 0 out of 10.
They probably
that
should
was,
have.
such a, that was such a weird concept where it's like, okay, fine, we don't want to do clones anymore. They're Echo Fighters, a separate distinction, blah, blah, blah. And then they don't really add that many of them. Because going into Ultimate, they added Daisy, who could really have just been a skin, honestly.
But Dr. Mario isn't one for some reason.
Yeah, but Dr. Mario gets to be a separate character just because of his story, you know,
Which is
his
bizarre.
in other games.
Because he always was just a Mario clone.
Yeah,
But
so,
it's not even because of historical reasons, because Lucina was retroactively made an Echo Fighter, even though it's like... Anyway, Sakurai, if you want easy money, make a $10 pack with 5 Echo Fighters in it. Have them be Shadow the Octoling, Heihachi,
Miss Pac-Man.
Miss Pac-Man, and God, I don't know.
Here's one I would like.
Some Fire Emblem character just to piss people off, and you
look. They wouldn't be able to get away with Heihachi as an Echo Fighter, and here's why.
He doesn't have the Devil Gene, which is specifically what Sakurai said.
Jin
Kazuya,
Kazuma.
but,
Then
Jin could work.
Yeah, it's like
but
Jin from Tekken 3
Tekken 3
specifically, because like he changes his entire fighting style after that.
Yeah, but here's an Echo that I'm the only one who's ever talked about. Echo for the Ice Climbers, Alex and Plum from the Mario Sports games.
Huh.
I don't know how they do like the up B or the ice stuff,
jump rope.
but sure.
Okay, up B is a jump rope. The neutral B with the icicles is just, tennis and golf balls that roll around. And down B, it could be like spraying deodorant. Yeah, spraying deodorant because they're sports.
What I want to see as an Echo Fighter is like something genuinely interesting that maybe doesn't share the same franchise as the character that's being mechanically echoed. But
I feel that's kind of how it works, though. If you're making a character with the same moveset, they kind of have to be somewhat related to make sense.
I mean, I'm sure it's possible. It's certainly much easier, though, to think of someone from the same franchise.
You say that, but the first real Echo Fighter in the series was Ganondorf. And that was just Captain Falcon.
I guess if we want to count Luigi. But
Luigi.
the second, sure. Ganondorf and Captain Falcon, definitely.
That was the weirdest fucking thing, but nobody batted an eye at it.
Well, no, we all batted an eye at that. We all thought that was very confusing.
Oh, okay.
And then like after me, it's like, okay, give Ganon an original moveset that matches his character, and then Sakurai just never did it for like 4 games. It's like, really?
You have to remember that for years, people wanted another sword fighter in Smash because they wanted Ganondorf to have a sword, and it was like, okay. But I mean, they're right. Like Ganondorf is an important enough character to not be a Captain Falcon copy. It's really weird. It's just, out of all the characters for Ganondorf to copy, I would not have expected Captain Falcon. Like, I would have guessed Bowser first. I don't know, like, it probably was easier to alter the model, I guess. I don't know.
Well, you'd have to make him Pig Ganon to be more Bowsery, but...
Yeah, or, like, I'm trying to remember the other
It's like
heavies.
Melee was very rushed at the end, so to get more characters in, they just copied body build. So you have Falco, you have Young Link, you have Dr. Mario, etc., etc. So
honestly, half of Melee's roster is kind of not great. when you think about it, but it kind of just has legacy.
You know, the idea that that Melee
legs.
was rushed kind of explains a hell of a lot about that game. To be honest, like,
Yeah,
No,
it was. It was
wave
made in
dashing
about-
was intentional, Lewis. I don't know what you're talking about.
I was gonna say it kind of was, considering it was made in
I
less
mean-
than 2
I
years.
mean, I
if
didn't
recall
say anything.
correctly.
What, me be salty? Never. I would never have salt.
Mario Salt. Hey, da-da-da-da-da.
Oh man, just
So-
imagine. I do, however, want to imagine the world where Banjo-Kazooie actually did make it into Melee. Because sometimes I wonder if that would have been enough for them to not have sold that property alongside Rare in the mid-2000s.
Well, they didn't sell Banjo or Rare. Basically,
Oh yeah,
what
yeah, you're
happened
right.
was-
They just didn't buy Rare.
Yeah.
Was what happened.
They went on the market saying, basically assuming Nintendo was going to buy them, and then that just kind of didn't happen.
I don't know why they would do that though. Like,
Nintendo or Rare.
Rare. Like I don't know why you would go on the market assuming that somebody would buy you and not just
well,
work out a purchasing deal with that specific buyer. You know?
They wanted to they wanted to improve their situation, and being owned by a bigger company certainly does improve a smaller company's situation, because
I get
now-
that part. I don't
Yeah.
like.
But,
I don't
like, they had-
understand
because they had a-
how they
they-
did it.
because they had a strong working relationship with Nintendo, and they assumed Nintendo would
And-
want them.
And most of their work with Nintendo has been successful. They're like, they just assume Nintendo will buy them, and they kind of want to do the whole, we're going on the market to try and maybe get some money out of them that way. And it's like, Nintendo just said, okay, bye.
Yeah, like I think that's the thing. It's just like if you assume somebody is going to buy you, my first thought is then don't go on the open market and like give them the option to say no.
Because it's a negotiation thing. If you approach Nintendo and say and try to convince them to buy you, you are bargaining from a position of weakness. And they are not going to give you much for it.
I mean,
That's the thing. If you want to be bought, you have to make the other party think that it was their idea. You know? So it's kind of like they wanted a favorable situation for themselves. So they tried to arrange a situation that they thought would work out. They just overestimated their apparent value to Nintendo because of
yeah,
how
that
successful
in
their
hindsight
relationship had
it just seems very cocky, I guess is the thing to me.
Well, I mean, it's the only way it's going to happen, you know?